United States in 1985 as a refugee from the war in El Salvador. And I met Oscar Romero in 1977. He spoke, and every Sunday I used to sit down at home and listen to the radio because his homilies, you were not able to go and see him at the cathedral. You were able to listen to his homilies being broadcast live every Sunday. And so I was able, I had the privilege to be present at that time. March 24, 1980, Oscar Romero was shot while he was celebrating Mass at the chapel of a small hospital called La Divina Providencia, the Divine Providence. A week later was his funeral. They took his body, prepared him, they took his body to the National Cathedral. They had him on a stay for a week. So people were coming and visiting him. I came, I went to saw the coffin. His funeral was on March 30th, a week later. And why, the largest gathering in the history of El Salvador, between 150 to 200,000 people. In El Salvador, like in everywhere in Latin America, you have the cathedral, and outside the cathedral is a great big plaza. In Mexico they call it Zócalos, but it's a big plaza. There were so many people from labor, student organizations, churches, everybody was there. And he came, and they came, and they saw so many people, the leaders of the church, so they had an outdoor mass. So they took the coffin outside in the plaza. That was around 11:30 a.m. Suddenly around, maybe at noon, I heard an explosion. I was there with my cousin and some members of my church. And I look around, and we thought, no, was that fireworks? No, during the roofs of the buildings in downtown San Salvador, soldiers started to shoot against the crowd. So my cousin and I, we saw that, and people started running in all different directions. Suddenly, I was running away. We were in the outskirts of the downtown San Salvador. We thought if we got out of here, we will be able to make it out alive. But suddenly I heard a machine gun going. I turn my back and I see a military vehicle shooting against the crowd. And I started yelling, "Tírense al suelo, lay down on the floor." I lie down on the floor, and I heard the bullets going over my head. And then the military vehicle left, and I heard people screaming and yelling and screaming and everything. And then I opened my eyes, I had blood in my shirt, and I thought that they shot me. But it wasn't me, it was my cousin that was next to me. An M16 rifle blew his head in pieces. So he died there next to me. So as we did, we took his body inside the cathedral. It was an amazing memory because the coffin of Oscar Romero was already inside the cathedral, was on the altar table. And at the bottom of the table were all the bodies of people that were died that day, almost 60, 70 of them. And I had to bring the body of my cousin and to put it there. So my cousin died on March 30th of 1980 at the funeral of Oscar Romero. That we realize a government that will go and kill the leader of the church, a peaceful man, a man nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, a man that had an unconditional love for the poor, that advocated for a non-violent resistance, was killed by the military. Then we came to the conclusion that, the only way